friends. I'm Heidi with Healing Harvest Homestead, and I'm right now in the middle of a whole bunch of different herbal things. So making some elderberry syrup, and I'm doing a couple of tinctures over here, but I wanted to go ahead and show you real fast before I finish up this elderberry syrup, how to make a tincture without using alcohol. Now, technically, this isn't a tincture. A tincture is an alcohol based extract, herbal extract. So I'm going to be using vinegar and honey, a combination of the two. And technically that is called an oxymel. Okay, so an oxymel is just an old-fashioned archaic word that stands for vinegar and honey. And it's gonna give a nice kind of a sweet, sour, tart taste to this tincture. But one of the reasons I'm making this tincture this way, and this is one I make all the time, I have for years, it's a sleep tincture. But I'm making it this way because I have a friend who really wants some, and he can't have alcohol. He doesn't, he's not interested in even having a little bit. So I'm going to make him this same herbal formula using a oxymel. So I've got a pint jar here. Usually when I make this myself, I will put it in a quart jar or even a half-gallon jar, because this is a formula I actually use almost every single night. And that's because it really works. It helps me just get to sleep and have a really good night's sleep, and I don't wake up groggy, which is wonderful. So the herbs in this blend, I may have done a video on this actually for the tincture, but I'm not sure. So if I've already covered these herbs, that's okay. It won't hurt you to hear it again. I've got some valerian root here. And you know, I love the smell of valerian root. It is actually, has been likened by many other herbalists to stinky feet. And I understand that. It's, I can understand where that comes from. But honestly, I like it. And I think the reason I like it so much is because I like the way it works. And you know, when something does good things for your body, you tend to just enjoy it, right? So anyway, I've got 2 parts of valerian root. And in case you're wondering, I'm using a 1/4 cup measurement in a wide mouth pint jar. I'm using a 1/4 cup measurement in a pint jar, and that's going to give me about that much in my mason jar. Now, I'm a folk herbalist, and I know you can try to standardize your herbal preparations, and many people do. You can get all fancy with measurements and weighing out in grams and milliliters and cc's and all kinds of things. But I'll be honest, I've tried that, and they don't work any better for me than my folk herbal preparations do. And I think it's a matter of having enough experience with the herbs themselves. You get an intuition about how they work together and how they blend. And honestly, the parts method is what I learned. So 1 part in this formula is, this time I'm making it, is going to be 1/4 cup. The next herb I'm going to use is hops. These are hops strobles. They're hops flowers, and they also smell good. But these expand quite a lot, so I'm going to use about 1.5 parts, and I'm going to call it good. Yeah, that's probably good, because they absorb so much of the liquid and they expand. So what you want in your any kind of tincture or oxymel or a sedum, which is pure vinegar, you want enough movement in your jar so the herbs can move around and really extract their good herbal chemicals, okay? And the next one I'm going to use is lavender buds. Now, this is a recipe that I got many, many years ago from Rosemary Gladstar in her book, Medicinal Herbs, A Beginner's Guide. And then I've just kind of played with it over the years. I don't, like I said, I just don't measure anything out anymore because I've made it so many times. But anyway, what I've got here is herbs that are, I was shooting for just under halfway in my pint jar, okay? So that's what I've got. Make sure I get the right lid on the right jar. Because seriously, the valerian root has a really strong smell. I don't want to smell my lavender up with it. That wouldn't be good. So now what I want to do, I've got some room here and I need to fill the rest of this jar up with a combination of vinegar and honey. So I'm going to go ahead and start with my apple cider vinegar. Give it a good little shake here. Get the mother all shaken up. And I'm going to go ahead and fill it almost to the top. Now, I am not a person who likes a lot of sweet. Some other people are. So you can make your oxymel with equal parts vinegar and honey, or you can simply, you know, kind of use a little bit less honey. So I've got some raw honey here from a local beekeeper, and it's a little bit crystallized. I did try to uncrystallize it, but it's still a little crystallized. So I'm going to add a little bit of honey to this. All right, perfect. Okay, let me get a lid. You don't want to get metal lids for any of your vinegar-based alcohol herbal preparations, okay? And that's because the vinegar will corrode the metal on the lid, and that is never a good thing when that stuff's going in your body. So get a plastic lid. You can buy these on Amazon. Oops. Make sure they're on tight. By the way, one thing about these plastic lids that's good to know is they don't seal super well. So a lot of times when you've got a tincture processing or an acetum processing or an oxymel processing, you might have a little overflow or spillage. So a good thing to do is to set it on a plate, okay? So that you don't ruin the surface of wherever you've got it sitting. So I shook it up pretty good there. And I can see that the herbs are already starting to absorb the liquid. And I would say I probably used just under half a cup of honey to this. And I've got more space, so I have got to add more vinegar. There we go. Now, once in a very great while, I'll get an herbal preparation that has too many herbs in it to the liquid I've got. In that case, what I could do, and that's not going to be the case with this, I think this is just going to be fine, but I would pour this into a mason jar, a quart-sized mason jar, and just increase very slightly the amount of the solvent, okay? And you just make little adjustments like that. Now, you can see that the valerian is still at the bottom and the hops and the lavender tend to float to the top. Eventually this will all meld together and they'll all sink to the bottom. But you want to shake this about once a day. And personally, I like setting it in a sunny window because I think the heat, this is my personal opinion, after doing this many, many years, the heat helps to extract more of the chemicals more quickly. So that's my preference. I know some herbalists will put their preparations into a dark cupboard. That's fine too, okay? It's just gonna maybe take a little bit longer. But I'm going to let this steep for about 4 to 6 weeks and just give it a good little shake every day. And that's important with this particular herbal preparation. Some of your herbal preparations you don't need to shake every single day because they'll remain loose. But with valerian root and often any other kinds of roots, they'll get stuck to the bottom, and powders especially. In fact, I really don't like using powders in my tinctures. I like cut and sifted, or just the herbs and flower, the leaves and flowers. But yeah, you're gonna wanna definitely give this a good little mix every day or so. After 4 to 6 weeks, I'm going to strain it off, bottle it up, and we'll just see how this works. You might be wondering, how does this compare to an alcohol tincture, which is how I usually make this recipe? Honestly, alcohol generally extracts more of the herbal constituents than other solvents do. But with that said, vinegar is a very fine extractive for many things, especially minerals and things like that. So I suspect this is going to work just fine. And I can make a good educated guess about that. I've never actually made a deep sleep oxymel before, but I've made teas with this blend and it works great. so if it's gonna be extractable in water as well as alcohol, vinegar is gonna work just fine. The honey is going to help preserve it and give it a sweet taste. So there you go. This is a sleep formula, oxymel, vinegar and honey preparation that will help you stay asleep. And by the way, the reason these herbs work so well to help you go to sleep is because two of them are nervine herbs that have relaxant and even in the case of valerian, sedative properties. So these are just really excellent hops and valerian. And then the lavender is a mild nervine. It's just relaxing and calming and generally soothing, as we all know. So other herbs that you could actually substitute if you wanted to would be chamomile, passion flower, skullcap, lemon balm. Any of those are going to have relaxing qualities as well. So if you didn't want to go as heavy duty as the valerian, you could play around with this and use other relaxing nervines to make a good combination. Another one would be California poppy, linden is good, milky oats, there's a lot of them. Anyway, if you would like to learn more about plants and how you can make remedies at home that really work, I suggest you take a look at my school. I've got a family herbalist program that, you know, my goal is to get an herbalist in every home, okay? And so it's quite affordable, and it will get you into the medicine making and give you a good background in herbalism. And then if you want to take it farther, you can. Or the other option, I should say and/or, because they kind of go together, is my Confident Herbal Tribe membership. And what that is it's a monthly deep dive look at an herb along with an additional herbal lesson or a piece of the larger course. And it's $22 a month, so it's very reasonably priced as well. At least that's what it is for right now. It is going to go up. There's 15 courses in there right now, so it's definitely worth that price. Plus, there's a community of students that learn together online. So when you join, you've got me giving live lessons every week. You've got a community group of students to support you, as well as me. I'm in there every single day. And then you've got the lessons, video and text. So anyway, just in case you want to take a look, I'll put links below. I hope you guys have a really good rest of your day. And I'm going to get back on this elderberry syrup.